Hello, everyone. We're back. We finished the show about 15, 20 minutes ago, and we are talking about this European Super League, and then we were talking about Leeds against Liverpool. But just as we finished the last show, this announcement was made that 12 European clubs have agreed on a new European Super League, and it's gone mental. It's gone absolutely mental. Thanks, Keith, for coming back. And
I thought we were coming back to do more of a Leeds preview.
yes,
more of the Super League stuff.
Because Tommy gave out to us earlier. I will be adding in a couple of people as we go. Just lads that are, contribute to this show, and they've asked could they come on, so we will add them in as they come along. City Fisher says, Keith, football is dead. And, I'm looking at this, Keith, and I'm disgusted. I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm not speaking on behalf of the LFC Daytrippers by saying this. I'm speaking on behalf of myself. I am disgusted at this. I really, really am. We spoke about at length in the show earlier on about how it was a power grab, how it was, it was a high stakes game of chess. But that announcement tonight, not only sickens me, but it also shows me that Liverpool Football Club have gone down that route, and they have taken no consideration of anybody around the club, the supporters, or anybody else, or the feeling of the fans, or whatever else it might be, and have made a decision to join this. It's scandalous, Keith.
Yeah, it's an emotive one, alright. I might come across as being sort of pro Super League. I'm not, but in some ways, I'm glad that I don't want to be left behind on it, and that's the fear. Do you know what I mean? So, I think there's a certain amount of fear in the whole situation. Do you know what I mean? What's going to happen? It's the fear of the unknown. Phil Casey made a great point in our WhatsApp there earlier about this being an American model. If it works, it's going to blow the Premier League and all out of water, but it's the fear of not knowing what's going to happen is what everyone is on. Like, football, it could be on its arse. We just don't know. This isn't about the... Shawnee touched on it on the show earlier, Gav. This is not about the match-going fan that lives local to a club. And let's forget, it's not just Liverpool. And the thing that's annoying me is that, once again, Liverpool are being painted as being the front runner here. It's 12 of the biggest clubs in Europe, and it's going to be 20 of the biggest clubs in Europe before it's even sort of finalised.
A quote from the Glazers in the LFC presser says it all, says Umar Khalid. Yeah.
Well,
Delman Jones says, disgraceful. Typical of our owners, lads. Hope we get the fans stand up to this. No to Super League, enough is enough. Bring your banners, boys. FSG out, RIP football.
You see,
I don't care about the other clubs, Keith. I don't care about the other clubs.
But that's the issue we have, Gav, is that what we're going to do, we're going to say no to Super League. Super League goes ahead. We're not in it. And we're in a bleeding Scottish and SPL without Rangers. Do you know what I mean? No one's watching it. It loses its bleeding. The Premier League, we have to be in the fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but we have to be. If this Super League is happening, we have to be in it. This FSG outshine it's no use. Owners not being, ruthless commercially and, different areas, I know, but at the dawn of the Premier League and all that, we weren't ruthless enough, Gav. We have to be ruthless now. We have to make sure we're in that picture. We're in this fucking Super League. We have to be in there. If I'm not, we're fucked.
Wayne Stewart says, Gav, I have a question about proposal. It looks like a replacement for the Champions League with Premier League matches still going ahead. Wayne, if you read the UEFA statement earlier, they say they are appalled by this, and with the backing of a lot of leagues around Europe, they will look to ban these clubs from domestic football, their European competition, and possibly players being stopped from playing international football by FIFA. So, if this goes ahead as we think it is, and UEFA stand by their statement earlier, which they will probably have to now because they put it out during the day, probably not knowing if this statement was coming tonight, Liverpool won't be in the Champions League. They won't be in the Premier League. They will be banned from that domestic competition. So what you're going to look at is, and the other thing is, they're saying 12 teams with, I think, another 5 to come on board or whatever it might be, right? 17 teams or whatever it might be. Like that, how did these other 5 teams qualify? Because they can't be in the federations that are listed on the UEFA. Where are they getting these 5
It's
teams
going
from?
to be PSG. It's going to be Bayern Munich. It's going to be Leipzig. They're all going to wriggle their way into this. There's no way.
But that's
It's
fair
going to be
enough.
Ajax. It's going to be, these
Yeah,
big clubs that haven't been able to put their name on it yet will make up the numbers. It's not going to be a qualifying thing. It's going to be, they're going to
an
get.
invitation thing. So it's an invitational where nobody can get relegated. Somebody can win it, and you won't play domestic football. Because that's what we're looking at. Chris, thanks for joining us. City Fisher says Porto, Leipzig and Bayern will all join. Chris, you probably watched the show earlier. You probably didn't. We've done a lot of talking on the whole European Super League and what we felt was happening. And what we felt at the time was that the 12 clubs involved were very serious about it, but it looked like a game of chess to get more money out of them for the Champions League. But that statement tonight, I don't know whether it's an official statement from Liverpool Football Club to say they've agreed to join a Super League. What do you make of this?
It's shite, isn't it? I generally thought it was a bluff. I thought this is a big bluff so they can get more money out of UEFA and get a bit more control of what's going on in Champions League, because the leadership at top football's crap. So, and they know basically if they had a bit more say, it possibly run a bit better. But when I saw that statement, I shouldn't be shocked really by things in football, but this is one of the things where I thought they're not actually going to go ahead with it, because I'm not a fan of closed shops. I mean, for years I've mocked Real Madrid's 13 Champions Leagues because the first 5 were it's only people you only invited shit teams, and then basically we've done it. And I know it keeps saying we're getting it, but all the things that are written is it was out. We were like the main people who pushed this. We push this more than anybody, so we've got to take our medicine. And I'm very positive. I know we stick up for Liverpool for most things, try and see the positive in this. I can't see the positive in this. I just think it's a shit idea. I like how they say, we want to keep the integrity of the domestic leagues, so we're still playing domestic leagues. But put it this way, if we were already in this Super Cup, do you think we'd really have bought Kabak in January and given a shit about finishing 10th or 12th this year? Because you wouldn't give a shit, because you go, we're in Europe anyway next year. Why bother? So then you'll have the things of the league this year, if they were allowed to do it, is clubs wouldn't give a shit. It doesn't matter if I finish 8th this year because I'm in the Super Cup anyway. And the lads who win the league go, well done, you won the league. You're probably in the Champions League that isn't a Champions League that anyone gives a shit about. So, I mean, the format, do you know what? If they made that the format for the Champions League going forward, we have to get in and get out, through your league status. I could probably get behind that. But no, I mean, I've seen everyone doing the FSG out, and this is not me because I'm an FSG apologist, but if FSG go tomorrow, do you really think the guy who's going to take over is going to be the reincarnation of Bill Shankly and just going to go, oh no, Liverpool don't do this. We're going to turn our backs on £3.5 billion. Whoever the owner is, they're going to do it. I'm not saying that's not to give FSG a get out clause. This again is another PR bollock up by them. And whoever advises FSG, as we've seen, they do the U-turns eventually, but this doesn't feel like a U-turn that's going to come, because I can't see how anyone comes out of this in a good light. Even if the Super League doesn't happen, the damage is already done. The good faith that any Liverpool fans had with their owners is fucking gone, as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a shit about this means more. I don't give a shit now about, we really care about the fans. We'll do this for the stadium. I couldn't give 2 fucks now. I really couldn't,
Yeah, no, I get you. Patrick Boyle says, I'm told all 6 Premier League clubs have quit the European Club Association, along with the 6 other founding fathers of the Super League. Kieran Thorne with a super chat, thanks a million. He says, congratulations, Pochettino on winning the Champions League with PSG, as Chelsea, City and Real Madrid are going to be kicked out. There's one more there as well, A-Spec Limited. Guys, this makes sense why FSG haven't been spending big, because they always had this in mind. I feel sick to know these Cowboys have sold their heritage and history in Europe to line their pockets. I get the point, lads.
There's another super chat there, Gav. Did you see it earlier? Someone saying we missed one.
Did I miss one earlier? Sorry, I did. I apologise. Why is our anger aimed at the clubs? It's UEFA who is threatening to kick out these teams, and it's them who are going to ruin football. It can work. My anger is at Liverpool Football Club, not at the clubs. I don't give a fuck about the other 5. I really don't. My anger is at Liverpool Football Club, and I'll tell you what's even angered me even more I'm going to read the statement from Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool Football Club can confirm that we have joined Europe's leading clubs in agreeing to form a new competition, the European Super League. A joint statement released by all 12 founding clubs can be found below, with further information being made available in due course. Now listen to this. We are committed to working with all stakeholders, particularly supporters, as plans for this competition develops. So they're going to tell you what they're doing, and then they're going to try work with you on it. That's horrendous for me. Horrendous. 12 of Europe's leading football clubs have today come together to announce they have agreed to establish a new midweek competition, the Super League, governed by its founding clubs: AC Milan, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, Barcelona, Internazionale, Juventus, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Real Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur have all joined our founding clubs. It is anticipated that a further 3 clubs will join ahead of the inaugural season, which is intended to commence as soon as practicable. Going forward, the founding clubs look forward to holding discussions with UEFA and FIFA to work together in partnership to develop the best outcomes for the new league and for football as a whole. Now, it goes on there to say a bit more, and you can get that on Liverpool's website, lfc.com or liverpoolfc.com. It goes on to say a little bit more, okay? But the competition format, okay? So 20 participating clubs with 15 founding clubs and a qualifying mechanism for a further 5 teams to qualify annually based on achievements in the prior season. Remember that bit. Midweek fixtures with all participating clubs continuing to compete in their respective national leagues. See UEFA's statement earlier on. Okay? As August start with clubs participating in 2 groups of 10 playing home and away fixtures, with the top 3 in each group automatically qualifying for the quarterfinals. It goes on and on and on. Now, UEFA made a statement earlier on saying that they don't like this, they're not happy, and they will ban these teams from domestic football. So I don't know how they look to work with these sites. Okay, how do they work with UEFA and FIFA if UEFA are telling them that they can't play domestic football, participate in the Champions League, which they have no intention of doing anymore, and they're saying that they could have their players banned from international football via FIFA? How can they work together with this, Chris?
Lip service.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, did you see the FIFA statement? It was about as good use as a wet fart, wasn't it? It was like they're disappointed with what's been announced. Wow, that's going to scare the shit out of the clubs, isn't it? I'm disappointed. It's like when your teacher tells you off. Oh, fucking hell, never mind. I don't get what works. Now, is this still a power play to say, look, we've done the groundwork, we've set it up, we're going this way. We're going to talk to FIFA, because I don't know whether this is we've called your bluff now, and this is what we're doing, so we're going to go this way. That's me trying to find it.
According, if it's a power play, according to the Telegraph, Liverpool have quit the European Club Association, effectively no longer part of FIFA or UEFA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. What about Real, City, and
nothing?
Chelsea, because they're all in the Champions League.
But that's why they're quick. Yeah, but what I mean is, when I say it's a power play, is it's like calculated steps. Is release a statement. You all quit Europe apart from the ones who are still in it, which is ironic. And then we see what FIFA will do, because then it's like, well, now you have to come to the table to talk to us. If you don't, we'll all piss off, because it's a lot. Look, whether we like it or not, it's a lot of money, but just nothing about it sits right with me. It almost gets to the point where it's almost like a piecemeal, like, oh, don't worry, we'll still play in the domestic trophies. Oh, thanks very much. Who gives a shit?
No, it's basically treating the Premier League like it's the League Cup. Mm-hmm. That's what it's doing. So you used to look at the Champions League and the League, right, on a par, and then you'd look below that FA Cup and below that again, League Cup, whatever way you fancy it, okay? I'm a League Cup man over an FA Cup man, just the way I am, right? But we're now going to treat the Premier League like it's the League Cup or the FA Cup, because all you'll want to do is be in this tournament, playing all these fancy games against the big elite, okay, on a bi-weekly basis, or well, it'll probably be a weekly basis, because if there's 20 teams and it's 38 games, there's only, that's 9 months of football if you play every week. Do you get me? Mm. So you'll end up with it treating it like the League Cup and playing players in it to sue.
Mm. Yeah, but what does that do to the integrity of the thing, the Premier League, which is the key thing here? Because, no one really gives a bollocks about UEFA, because we've banned from UEFA competitions. We're in the Super League. The Premier League can threaten bans as well, but what are you really going to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it puts the I think that it puts the big picture thing back on the table as well, and it could be a thing of we want this Premier League reformed, or else we're going to play our under 23s in the fucking league. And we're going to keep our players for the Super League, because that's where the money is. Like I say, Phil made his point earlier about, you know, an American model, and it's nearly like a shortened, you know, NFL. The NFL is only 16 games in the season, but it's absolute, you know, millions watching this thing. And that's what, whether it's the locals, unfortunately, that get priced out of the moves, there'll be millions watching all around the world. Shawnee said games will be played in Saudi Arabia. They probably will. You know, this is what's going to happen. It's the age of money now that we're in, and whether we like it or not, it is what it is. And it started 30 years ago, lads, with the Premier League and the Champions League. It was about money then. It was about money 100 years ago. But
the Premier League was 24 teams at one point.
Yeah.
And then it went down to 20. I mean, I think what hurts me, and look, FIFA, UEFA, Liverpool, they won't give a shit about this. But my two biggest memories as a Liverpool fan, three biggest memories as a Liverpool fan, is 2001, when I saw Liverpool win a European trophy for the first time. The UEFA Cup meant, that UEFA Cup, I mean, Gav's seen, I've wrote an article about it, that UEFA Cup meant everything to me as an 18-year-old. 2005 is still one of the happiest involvements I've had with my brother, watching it in a local pub. It's the funniest things ever. And then we finally won the league. But this now says to me, that's not the big thing, though. The big thing now is this Super Cup. So it shouldn't, but it kind of pisses on your happy days, because you always look at these now going, yeah, but that's the competition we don't play anymore now. But it meant the world. It doesn't now. It doesn't mean anything in the Champions League. Like this game against Leeds, I've been buzzing for this game against Leeds. I've been looking forward to it. And I'm now going, what's the fucking point? You know?
Kev O'Sullivan said it's 23 games, max 18 guaranteed games. Yeah, you're right, Kev. But still, if it's 23 games, it's one game every 2 weeks across the course of the season. That's what it is. So in turn, you're going to have 23 possible games in the Premier League if you're playing in it, where you will look and go, well, this means fuck all. Because you're okay, you win a Premier League title, but what's it mean? What's it mean now? Right, you win a domestic title, it means fuck all to you, because your reward isn't going to try win the Champions League on top of you. Your reward's already there. You know, this is, and you put that American model on it. It is like watching fucking the NFL and going and playing in the NFL, and you know, the odd week playing in the college football. It's, for me, it's horrendous. And somebody says there, like, you know, Tash said, Jurgen walks next season. To be honest, I have nothing against it. Jurgen Klopp has been very strong. Well, what I mean, yeah,
like it, does he?
He doesn't like this idea. He doesn't like this concept, and he feels that the Premier League and the Champions League should be of the utmost importance. They won't be. One, you won't be in for definitely in the Champions League, even if you're in the Premier League. And if you wait for stick to what he said earlier on, we won't be in the Premier League. So what happens now? Like, if you look at it from the other side, Keith, right? You have 14 Premier League teams, okay, who are not involved in this, right? From, you know them, right? So now the Premier League have to look after their actual members, their full-time committed members. And them members should be looking and going, get them out. Get them out. You know what I mean? They have to protect their members that are committed to it now. Because even if Liverpool play in the Premier League, they're not committed to it. They're not way to commit to it. They've moved away from the concept, and I'm not saying UEFA or FIFA are perfect, far from it. But what I'm saying is they've moved away from the concept of you go and you try to win a Premier League title and your reward is, or your top four, and your reward is the Champions League. Now they're just sitting there going, we're in this every year. You know what I mean? There's only going to be one priority, and that one priority is this European Super League that they've started. Yeah. So they're going to have to look after their actual members now.
But the clubs are still their members. That's the thing. Like, they are still members, and that's what I mean. Like, it's
if they're invited into the league, Keith.
Are the Premier League going to kick them out? Really?
Well, if they're allowing their name to go into a statement earlier, no. It doesn't matter. It's a statement out there that says, with the backing of La Liga, Premier League, wherever it might be, all them names listed, they will look to ban them from domestic competition, from their European Champions League, okay, and UEFA Champions League, and possibly them players being banned from international football. We'll see what happens with FIFA. Wishy-washy or not, the words are on the page. They're out there.
Yeah, so they're damaging their own products then, because international football. So all the best players in the world are going to be wanting to be in the Super League, right?
Yeah.
So international football will have fucking nobody in it. They'll all be like Ireland going out where you're looking at the teams and you're like, never heard of them, never heard of them. The clubs, imagine, forget about the Premier League, because everyone seems to be, this seems to be a very English-driven thing. I know we're Liverpool fans, we're a Liverpool channel, which is, you know, why we're Liverpool focused. But
yeah, look, La Liga's going to be...
What's the league going to be without Atletico, Real and Barca?
Villarreal versus Celta Vigo and Sevilla. Yeah.
What's Serie A going to be if Juventus and Inter and AC Milan are in it? Do you know what I mean? Like every league's going to be impacted. So I think, and look, I'm not a know-all. I'm getting lashed out in some of the chat here for being an asswipe and all that. That's fair enough. I just think the domestic leagues are going to roll back on that UEFA statement. They're going to roll back because what do they gain from it? What do they benefit? How can the Premier League sell Super Sunday Gav with Burnley and fucking West Ham?
Yeah, well, how do you
in a title race?
How do you sell a Super Sunday when Liverpool put out the 23 is because of a big game against Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday?
True, but they'll still sell it. They'll still sell it. Sky and the Premier League have reaped this. You know, it's UEFA have reaped this. This is just the coming together of years of greed and commercialisation.
Stephen O'Connor says the Premier League is essentially just a Carabao League. That's what it feels like now, and I agree with him. I agree, and I think it's. Listen, I don't care how much money they're getting. I don't care who they're playing and how glamorous it is. It's not glamorous anyway. When you're playing them week in, week out, it's not glamorous anymore. It's just run of the mill, and it'll fall on its arse, in my opinion. But I'm sorry, but like going and watching Liverpool in the Premier League and having something that you've watched for years and years and years without them doing it, and then they do it, and then they turn around and go. They're basically just saying, fuck you now to the Premier League, fuck you to whatever, and we're going to go off, and where's all the money? It's over here. And the funny thing is, there's no advantage, because if you're getting 350 million for going into that, what are you doing with it? All you're doing is you're only spending it to progress in that competition over there. Yeah. It's no you've no advantage over the people you're playing against, because they're all getting it. They're all getting it. You know what I mean? It's not like and this is why I always thought it was. This is why I always thought it was a power play, because if they were able to stay in the Champions League, stay in the Premier League, but get more control over both of them competitions, i.e., where's the money going and how much of a cut we're getting, okay? Then you would gain an advantage, right? You would gain an advantage because the bigger teams always get more. That's how it goes, right? Right or wrongly, that's how it goes. But now you're literally going. There's the same amount to all of you, so it makes no fucking difference to the position you're in. Plus, you're looking at a league now that you don't really care about. You don't really, you clearly don't. You clearly don't, because you're breaking away from. You're basically breaking away from the competitions that is aligned with your domestic league, and by doing so, you're just being disingenuous to me, to the whole league, and I include all other clubs in that who should be absolutely appalled at Liverpool and 5 other clubs tonight.
The only thing you got to hope now is, and look, I think this is still a wing and a prayer a little bit, is when they said they want to work with FIFA, which FIFA said they don't want to do. I do wonder, because the genie's out of the bottle now, is this new Champions League reform going to delayed, re-looked at, and they find a way that's kind of a halfway house for both, which ultimately doesn't kill football that we like, but it leaves the most horrible aftertaste that we'll have with football, and I think it will put a lot of people off. I mean, I read the one-liner that said, we'll look to bring it into the women's game, which, look, if women's football, great. It's great. It'll help put more money in women's football. I guarantee you now, as a season take over women's football, they won't fucking invite Liverpool to that. Liverpool women's team are in the Championship. You aren't going to put a Championship side in a women's Super Cup. So Liverpool are going to hurt their own product in a different way. So it's still not going to help. It's the closed shop thing I don't like, and the arbitrary. We'll invite 5 in via league form or whatever crap they come up with. The closed shop thing is never, to me, is never a good thing. They could do the closed shop thing in NFL and NBA, because from what little I know of it, there aren't 50, 60 professional NBA sides. There aren't 50, 60 professional NFL sides. So you don't need relegation, because there's only 12, 15 sides anyway. So that's all you're going to have. Football, most leagues now have at least 60 to 90 professional sides. So they need promotion relegation to make it competitive. And I think that's the bit the American owners and the owners don't get. And that's what fans get, but that's what owners don't get. They just see the pound signs.
Do you know something like what's there's loads of it annoying me, and I have to say, like, there's lads within this podcast and within this channel that, you know, wouldn't be as upset as me, you know, are looking at it in a different way to me, and that's fine. I've no issue with that. I'm not speaking on behalf of this channel when I speak. I'm speaking on behalf of me. And what's fucking wrecking my head now the most is that Liverpool Football Club haven't approached anyone. They haven't approached any supporters groups, any representation of any supporters in any way, and said, "Look, this is what's happened." Because listen, they didn't wake up on Friday and go, "Oh, we're not really mad about that UEFA proposal. Will we go and do this European Super League on Monday?" There's no way they done that. This is months in the making, months and months in the making, and Liverpool Football Club haven't given any indication as to what they were going to do, and they've gone and done it. And then they're trying to tell you that they're going to work, especially with supporters. That fucking does my head in. Lads, if any of you have a phone near you or computer, just move it away. There's some interference coming in there. Sean, you're back with us. How are you? I'm good.
Mental how quick this has just snowballed from earlier on. I'm gutted, to be honest with you, but I told you lads before I jumped off, there's a show in Spain called El Chiringuito, and it's basically like it's like a WhatsApp group that plays out on television, and they have fans from all over. Now they're journalists / fans, and the reception in Spain is completely different to the one in England. They're seeing it as this potentially saving football in Spain, especially with the three big clubs, because they're all in dire need. So they've also said that PSG will jump on the bandwagon as soon as they're not in a UEFA competition anymore. So it seems to be real. I'm gutted because, like you said, Gav, it seems like really bad form by the owners to not touch base with who it really matters to, and that's the fans. Like, how are we expecting this to play out? You already look at FIFA's statement, and it's full of fluff. So it's power to the Super League. It's 1-0 to them. Advantage Super League in terms of the UEFA thing. Players really give a bollocks about not being able to play at the Euros? I don't think so. I don't. Maybe not. Most of them won't. I'm just delighted we got to win everything before all of this shit came in, because this feels like a real watershed moment in sports. We see boxing as being sports washed. We see UFC as being sports washed. We heard of the corruption in boxing with money being bankrolled by big gangsters. A select group of elite businessmen have literally come together and disbanded the most prestigious football competition of all time. And the thing that kind of, I'm not going to say upsets me, because that's it's a bit soft, to be honest with you. But the thing that is sad in this all is that just before we won the Champions League, I went to Real Madrid's stadium and I done a tour. And I was in awe of everything that club had accomplished. That trophy room is mental. You walk around and your jaw is on the floor. And just part of me feels like that means fuck all to these now, because these, whoever it is, JP Morgan, DAZN, have put a price on something, and they've given up the prestige of what we all know as the Champions League just to play in this competition against these select group of players, this closed shop, under their circumstances. They're the governing bodies. The vice chairman, the real chairman is is the boss at Real Madrid. How does this make sense? How does any of this make sense? Why is money a big thing when every single other club are getting the same amount? Where does it even out? Does it gonna make us easier to pick players from the likes of a Southampton? We can already do that. From a Leicester, well, you can't really do it with a Leicester now. We've seen the effect money has. If you wanted to go and buy James Justin next season, it probably cost you 60 million, because they have money. They don't need money anymore. The owners should be ashamed of themselves, Gavin. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. John Henry, Stan Kroenke. I knew Stan Kroenke didn't give a bollocks. I knew Joe Glazer didn't give a bollocks. I always thought John Henry gave a bollocks. I always felt like they did. But I find it hard to believe they do now. And don't get me, Ronaldo in the chat there. It's a mental name. It's one of them names you'd see on Twitter. But it's a great show. UEFA Mafia. UEFA are a mafia. And I do take solace in that the big boys are calling UEFA on that bollocks because they shouldn't be the George Duran executioner in this situation. They should have came to the table. This should have been all sorted outside of the media. This shouldn't have got this far.
Well, S. Millen said Liverpool have officially left the European Club Association and they never play in a UEFA competition again, according to Telefootball. Darius Hoyt says, breaking from the BBC Sport, all Champions League and Europa League games have been cancelled temporarily.
What?
Yes,
How
that's
can they play when they're not in the associations anymore? Do you know what I mean? You've got Chelsea, Man City, and
no fucking way.
who else is your own?
This is
Chelsea,
bonkers.
Man City, and
That's
Real Madrid.
that's why you still think it's not done, because if they're cancelling or postponing Champions League and Europa League, this has got its effect, which is listen to what we want, or we've got the tools now to move out. I don't like it. I think it's a real shit look. I think whatever shit the owners and Liverpool get, it's fucking deserved, and you ain't got to get me backing them up on it.
So we go. A-Spec says they've made, there's a website and everything for this thing now as well. So
it looks like something you'd see in a career mode in FIFA. The website, like this is bonkers. Honestly, I'm waiting to wake up. Do you ever get when you're having one of them dreams and it seems real, but something seems off, and then you realise I'm in a fucking dream now? I better wake up. This is mad. Like Arsenal and Spurs, they never won a European Cup.
Patrick Boyle says now the talk is that PSG will be crowned European champions because the other three teams left in it have left.
And they'll jump in only to get crowned champions. PSG are going to wail into this.
Yeah.
Look, like thanks, but no thanks. Smelly as later.
PSG will take the title, and the next day go, "We're out, boys. Thanks very much."
But the thing is, like people are saying there, like someone asked me earlier, and I apologise. I went off the screen. I couldn't find it back for you. The chat only holds so much, and then it disappears on you. But they said, Gav, would you like Liverpool to turn this down and stay in the Premier League and not become part of it? Yes is the answer to that. But sadly, it won't happen because it's about money now. It's all about money, and listen, they'll sell you this prestige and glamour toys. It's not. Trust me. One season of this, and you get the next, and you go, I'm fucking pissed off playing all them teams. They
said this about the Champions League in '92 when they were going to a group, and it's like, oh, this is just more money for the big teams. It's more games. It's gonna never catch on.
Yeah, but the difference is, Keith. The difference is, Keith.
That's a qualifier for them.
Say if what Chris said there is true, and this is still in limbo. How does this go? Like, how repairable are relationships now?
We don't know. A-Spec says, guys, imagine if UEFA strippers over 6 big years, the blood and sweat and tears, Gerrard, Dalglish, Souness, etc. went through for nothing. That's what I'm saying to you. It's absolutely mad.
Just us. Real Madrid have 13 of them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
But I don't care about. I don't care about
Barcelona
them.
have 5 of them.
But I don't care about.
Lads, can someone get that confirmed? Honestly.
It's come out. A few people have said here that according to the BBC, Champions League and Europa League games are being cancelled temporarily.
Can somebody put that link in the chat, because I don't believe it?
Well, Delman Jones has confirmed, lads, all UEFA Champions League and European Europa League are being cancelled temporarily. Welcome to the crazy world. I just. Look, it is about money. There's no fucking doubt about it. It's greed. It's pure and utter fucking greed. But I'm sorry. I enjoy going to watch Liverpool in league games, League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, wherever it might be. But this shit now is just beyond the fucking joke. And not only beyond the joke, because even if they stay in the Premier League, you will still be paying a premium to go and watch Liverpool Football Club when they won't give a fuck. They've clearly shown they don't give a fuck about the Premier League because
the players will, the manager will.
Well, I don't know, because you hear the argument all the time. These players value the Champions League. Yeah, they may do, but at the end of the day, the club have shown they don't give a fuck, because even on the back of a statement from UEFA
I'm just
claiming they will
laughing
ban
at
them from
City.
domestic football, they've
City
still gone and
never
done it.
win it. City never gonna win big ears. That's
So-
there's little things like that where I'm taking solace in,
Take
and
the
I'm glad
solace where you can.
we got to do all of this. We got to win it all before it all went to fucking pot, lads. Like, we were all saying, VAR has me. That was, yeah, I heard your dad thinks that football is done, but I think football may well and truly be done. Phil keeps banging on and about WhatsApp about how this is the great Americanization of the game.
Yeah.
This isn't a fucking American sport. Football is the people's game. Football is the people's game.
There's no
And it's
jeopardy.
not-
There's no
Yeah.
jeopardy now. So
I can't see anything on the BBC website that says
I
that.
don't care about tomorrow night now. All of a sudden,
No.
just like that.
yeah.
You
Lads,
don't.
we're gonna finish at 8th. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're playing Real Madrid next year. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm looking on the BBC website here, and I can't see anything on BBC Sport.
No, I'd imagine that's bollocks.
I
think
can't see
that's
anything. It says, or Kumar says, check BBC News round. I just don't. I just think it's terrible. I think it's awful. I think the whole premise of the game now is not about any sort of history, any sort of tradition, any sort of, you know, knowing where you are. Like, what happens in 2 years' time if this all goes to fucking pot? What do we do?
Exactly. We're all. That's the thing.
We play Runcorn in the conference and start the climb.
Yeah.
Ben Ebbett says the UEFA have tweeted this, so it is true.
So come here. We're not playing the Premier League next year.
I don't know.
As it's-
If any of you have a phone there, knock it off. It's killing whatever's
My
going on
phone's
here.
inside.
No, my phone's miles away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine was
I'm gonna-
under the table, but
I'm going to turn mine off for a minute, just in case it's me.
I'll just move it away. Move it further away.
I understand the argument, right, about what if it goes to shite. I really do. And I sound like I'm pro Super. I'm not pro Super League. I'm not pro FSG. I'm not pro this, that, and the other. But what if
I don't think
what if it
anyone is
takes
pro
off?
FSG at the moment.
Well, where does
What
it go,
if-
Keith?
What if it does take? But what if
But
we don't? None of us know. That's the thing.
It's-
What if
I
it
think-
does take off?
It's
What if it
Keith.
does and we're left out of it? That's the fear. That's the biggest worry. We have to be
But
involved.
Keith,
Oh, we're fucked.
what if it takes off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what if it takes off? But what are you leaving behind, Keith?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. What you're leaving behind is
We're
a competition.
We're going into a system now that has no real governing body.
And not only that, you are going into a competition where you know your opponent every year, every week. Nothing changes. Nobody fucking gets relegated. All that sort of stuff, right? Okay. And what you're leaving is the biggest league in the world. All right, you're leaving that. Even if you're still in it, you're leaving it because you're not bothered, right? Plus, you're leaving a competition, right? That, all right, people mightn't like the format to it, but you don't know who you're getting every year. You don't know who you're drawing. You don't know how you're going to draw in this round, that round. There's always an emphasis. There's a surprise element in it. And that's where the glamour stuff comes from. And, you know, we were talking about Real Madrid earlier. So Real Madrid from 2008 and 9, 2014, you know, the final in 2018, this year, you know, that's, and it comes up every couple of years. As I said earlier, Bayern, how long has it been? You know, the sort of stuff. Obviously, you know, there's other clubs there where you go, oh, what massive European nights. And now it's just going to be, now they're going on the premise that, oh, it's just massive European nights every week for the whole season. It'll just, people are just thrown off, in my opinion, go, oh, this is bollocks. Because at the end of the day, like Shawnee said in the show earlier, people go through their week. You know, I know people from Liverpool who are season ticket holders, and they work all week, and that's their thing. Saturday, if it's away, they get out early, they're on the motorways and whatever. If they're at home, they're meeting in the pub earlier, and that's their thing. And I'm sorry, but where's the motivation to go and watch Liverpool if you know you're going to Anfield for Liverpool against Manchester United? They both have huge games at the week during the week, and you turn up and 7 or 8 first teamers aren't playing. It's a Carabao Cup game, so you know what I mean. And not only that, if you are in the Premier League and you're getting your season ticket for this Europa or European Super League, you're going to be paying through the fucking nose for it as well. You know what I mean? So you're being told to do something that I think the absolute vast majority of people are against, right? But you're going to be thrown into this. Do you know the automatic cup scheme? Yeah. Put your name down on that, or you won't get to see fuck all. It's absolutely It's horrendous for me. It's absolutely horrendous
Like,
for me.
it's the little things. It's the Champions League anthem, the build-up. Is it will Anfield be the same on a European Super League night? I don't know.
But it's like, how can you get up for it when it's like, I know what keeps saying is
That's-
we said this about Champions League, but
There's
it's
no
like
prestige, Chris. There's no.
when we got into the Champions League in 2000, when we got it in 2001, that was a big thing because it was like we finally got to, as I called it, the competition that we won as a kid. Me dad seen us win, or the competition that United played in every year. I always saw Champions League as United's competition because I grew up in the 90s and we were shite. So when we got into it, you were like, wow, we're gonna have to play some of the big boys. We're gonna get to see what it's like. You know, I was buzzing this year that we got Ajax because we hadn't played Ajax since the 70s. So it's the first time I seen Liverpool play Ajax live. I'm not gonna, but that could now be if Ajax get into the Super Cup, I would play Ajax every week. Ajax become Burnley, and you're like,
sort of
there's no jeopardy. You know,
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if this Super League went to Ajax, to Galatasaray, to Rangers, to them all, and gave them all the same money. That's integrity. But the fact they're just picking the select clubs who they want to invite, that doesn't wash with me. So they're not giving the teams the equal opportunity that UEFA say give them by offering the spots up. They didn't do that. They went around inviting who they choose to invite. This is why I don't like. This is like the fucking Stonecutters Club out of Simpsons. It's like a cult, a masonry. Do you get me?
I fully get you. I fully get you. And you know what?
Ajax, if you're a pure football lover going back to the days, think about that. This sounds like, but it's not. It's really. Imagine what Johan Cruyff would think of this. Imagine what Johan Cruyff would think of this. One of the godfathers of the game, responsible for what happened at Barcelona, making Ajax one of the like that classic Dutch team. They're not considered royalty. They're Ajax's football and royalty. Should always be. Celtic are a massive club.
What happens if?
It's fair.
But the question is, what happens? Say Newcastle do get taken over by the equivalent of a Man City owner.
They'll be invited.
Exactly, but then if they get invited, does it become a 21 Super League, or just kick?
No, it's as someone else said there a minute ago.
I'm seriously worried about the longevity of something like this, and how long it can last without going stale. And the way would they just invite teams that they like? This is how Barcelona won that first five. Real Madrid, sorry. It was Franco's Madrid. Like, Franco was a dictator. He was able to dictate. He was able to come and play. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's so many big clubs around Europe that we just don't consider big because we don't play there. Go and watch Porto Benfica in a fucking derby. Tell me they're not big clubs. Go and look at all it. Go to Ajax PSV in the Amsterdam Arena. Like, how is this fair?
Well, it's Jonathan says, Gav, it's not about the match-going fans anymore. It's about the TV fans in US, China, Australia. Yeah, maybe so, but you can't have a go at people because they support them, US, China, Australia, etc. No. This is, but at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, like, Liverpool play Premier League football. Okay, and when they play Premier League football, we're all up for it, especially in the last couple of years because we're chasing down the title that we've wanted for so long. And when they get in the top four, which hopefully they do this season, or we hoped up until about an hour ago, or they win a title, what happens? You go into the Champions League, right? And you know how big the money is in the Champions League. And when you go in there, you don't know who you're going to get in the group. Are we seeded? Are we not? Who's in pot 2, 3 and 4? Who are we getting in the last 16 if we get through? Oh, it's an open draw now. And you don't know. Now you're going to have 18 to 23 games a season who you know exactly who you're playing. You know exactly who you're playing. Well, they'll split it into 2 pots of 10. But you know who you're playing. You know who's in it. You know the competition. And then at the end of the season, we go, oh, where do we finish? It's 5th. Doesn't fucking matter. We're back in the next season anyway. And at the same time, people are going on about the Premier League and the value with them 6 leave. The values are more, in my opinion, if you leave them in it and they don't give a fuck, right? Because what does the Premier League mean to them anymore? If they win a Premier League, they go, Yeah, so what? It's not making as much money as it used to, because it's about fucking money, right? It's about money. And listen, I'll put it to you this way: it will end up where finishing fourth or fifth in this other thing will mean more than winning the Premier League title, because the money on the balance sheet will
Does
go more.
anybody
And
know
that's what
this money for going in the 400 million? Is that a once-off thing or is it a yearly?
Every
thing?
year.
It's a yearly payment, is it?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's
But the problem I've got with that yearly payment is, great, everyone goes, we get 400 million a year. Well, City get 400 million a year, and City already have like $1 billion more than we do anyway.
Yeah.
So
what difference does it make?
What's it, mate? We're going to go. We'll buy. We'll spend all our 400 million. We'll buy Mbappe. City will go. We'll pay 450, and we go fuck. So we'll end up still going for like a Daka, and then we'll go. We'll still the same. So we've gone from being like finally at the top to now being. I think we'll end up becoming like mid-table Super League. And you're like, what's the fucking point?
What nobody's talked about yet is the players, and I think the only thing that can stop this from happening is all the players banding together and stopping it. That's the only thing. Is if top players, if PSG will be in the hat, nothing shorter. They're just keeping that powder dry. If an Mbappe, Neymar, Ronaldo, Messi, Virgil van Dijk, Kevin De Bruyne all come out and says, we're not going to play in your competition, stick it up your arse, then is it going to be as to the zone? Will it be as desirable of all the top players abstain from playing in this competition? So
yeah, but the thing is, they might look to abstain, right? And that's fine. But with this happening, the value of the Premier League goes down. The value of all the leagues go down, and the amount of money they get for TV rights or sponsorship or prize money they can put up goes down. So being able to afford these players, even if they don't want to play in this competition, the chances of being able to pay these players their going rate reduces rapidly. Okay, and not only that, players want money, Shawnee. It's like forget about it. Money is money at the end of the day.
Some of them don't go, Gav.
There's a lot of them that do, Shawnee. Like
Virgil van Dijk didn't want money.
Well, Virgil van Dijk is one case. Do you know what I mean? But he's not like, how many clubs in the Premier League, if those 6 are playing in it and just moseying along, right, that nobody wants to pay for, or aren't there? How many teams in that Premier League, if it goes that way, can pay Virgil van Dijk 200 grand a week? I would suggest not many.
WWE now.
But this is what I'm saying to you. It's not only about the whole concept or the setup of this. Do you know what I mean? That's not what it's about for me. What it's about for me is the whole impact of it on Liverpool, on the teams that are left behind, and the product that's left behind. Because even if they're there, they're leaving it behind, in my opinion. Do you get me? So you know what I mean?
The bit I
have not suspended. Of course, they haven't.
Because they won't do it. They'll keep UEFA and Europa League as it is until the summer, and then that's when they'll try and thrash something else. Because let's face it, I don't think the Super League is going to start August, because there's no way it's going to get.
of those apparently wants it in August.
Yeah, I know he wants it. I want a Ferrari. I do think there's an element of
a new spaceship to play for in the Madrid City Centre. So
the bit I can't get my head around is the 15 founding clubs who are going to run it. How do you agree on what's done? Because let's face it, are the 6 English clubs going to club together? Because that's what we normally do and get our own way. It won't be long before old rivalries kick out and the 6 English clubs club together. There'll be a Super League and a Super League.
The chairman of Real Madrid, United, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, and
Barcelona,
Atletico Madrid, all of these who are rivals, they're all going to be in bed together making plans here. How does this work? Like,
how do we make sure we're the top 6 and then we let Porto and we let Tottenham and we let Arsenal, but we don't get further?
What happens if El Khalifi starts having little chats with Florentino saying, well, John's a bit of a doddery old bollocks. I don't know whether they haven't been great. I think we should maybe look at fucking them off. Like, it's all mad.
It's all
I don't believe it's happening.
This is a bit tongue in cheek, but for the 6 English clubs, why is Villa not in? Because they've got more European prestige than the other 2 Cockney gets there,
Yeah,
isn't it?
but they don't sell.
They don't sell now, but
that's what it's. Listen, it's not about European trophies. It's not
No,
about
it's
European
about
trophies. It's
money.
not about league trophies. If Manchester United didn't win a league in the last 20 years, they'd still be in it because they sell. That's as simple as that.
If we hadn't won the league last
Manchester United. Look, my father's a Manchester United fan, right? He's fucking 60 odd years of age, right? And he'll tell you. He said he knows, like, he tried to get me to be a United fan. It wasn't happening. And he always told me, he said, we were fucking awful. He said, but we were still the biggest. He said, Liverpool and United were always the biggest. He said, even when United were dirt, he said they were the biggest. The crowds are Old Trafford. He said they were the biggest pull. Them and Liverpool.
What made them big, though?
What?
What made them big?
He just said they were the biggest. He said fans. Of course they were.
History.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That's why the biggest clubs, Manchester United went through, 30 years before winning that Premier League, and they were playing garbage in the 80s.
Yeah, but that's the thing. As my father said to me,
why don't we give Notts Forest and Villa a show?
But you won't, because they don't sell. They don't sell. Like,
those are in there because they have a big Whopper stadium.
But like, if you look at United in the
put it this way,
70s, 80s, right? Wherever they went, they sold out because they were the biggest, right? And as my father said to me, he said, look at Liverpool. Liverpool in the 90s were awful. He said they were awful. But he said, watch, wherever they went to play, the home crowd was sold out. Liverpool are in town. They sell. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are, they sell. And you know what the funny thing was? When United were at their worst, more people went to fucking watch them, especially opposition fans, hoping that they could watch their team beating Manchester United, because that's what it's all about. It's sell.
Do you know what? You hit the nail on the head. The big thing here is send. You could take them all out. The Premier League cannot afford to have us and Manchester United not playing week in, week out under the Premier League badge. Forget about the rest. Forget about Arsenal. Forget it. Put them all in there. Try selling TV companies a Premier League package without United and Liverpool, and let me know how it goes for you.
It won't go, Shawnee. But you see, the thing is, it's as damaging for the Premier League on a professional basis to have Liverpool and Manchester United in that league if they don't care about it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. What's this now? There's loads coming in here. Blake says that Man City have left the UEFA Champions League. Check City Extra.
That must be true.
There's a quote here from Perez that's just come out. Here we go. We will help football at every level to take it to its rightful place in the world. Football is the only global sport. It's our responsibility as big clubs to respond to their desires. It's a very capitalist response, I suppose. Yeah. And Allegri, the Italian fella. That's him. I couldn't pronounce it.
That's him. A dirty bastard.
We have watching, in which case he's a lovely fella.
Yeah, we have come together at a critical moment, giving fans and amateur players a regular flow of headline fixtures that will feed their passion for the game, while providing them with engaging role models. PR bollocks. But
this is the fella who was asking what business Atalanta had in the Champions League quarter final when they hadn't been in it for 20 years previous. So it's the same elitist bullshit. And Agnelli just happened to be the richest family in Italy. Like, they own Ferrari, Fiat. So they're stinking rich. And it's all about elitism to them. Football.
A-Spec says Henderson needs to restart the WhatsApp groups and get the captains to boycott this. Look, there's loads coming in. Battery, I don't know what's... I don't know. Have I to decipher this?
Similar to Kerry, Packer era in cricket.
Send them the messages.
Similar to...
I don't know what that is.
I can't. UCL won't last long. I don't know. Kerry Packer era in cricket. Whoever Kerry Packer.
Right, we better get out of here. We're nearly an hour here.
Thanks. Dyslexia trying to read that.
Thanks to everyone for joining. Thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. It's been a mad one. It's been a really, really mad night.
Postmaster will be fun tomorrow.
I'm telling you.
Who gives a bollocks now?
Kerry Packer era in cricket is what he's meant to say. Sorry,
Yeah.
somebody is deciphered it here. Hold on.
Kerry Packer was an Aussie media mogul.
Kerry
Oh,
Packer changed
he's the
cricket.
guy that
Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
yeah.
He did the breakaway cricket thing, didn't he?
The
That
what
felt-
the Indian was it the IPL where they all went for big money? Was it that thing?
No,
Yeah,
no. I think he did one in the
Similar
80s.
similar to the cricket thing that happened with the guy offering cricket teams $20 million to join.
Oh,
But he did that.
Like
But
for the
he didn't
first
have the
Super
money.
Sunday of the season next year.
yeah.
Yeah,
Brentford
Patrick-
and Burnley,
Patrick-
Palace and Watford.
Patrick
And
Boyle
it's
says
live.
they will offer fans cheap tickets. Mark my
They fucking
words.
won't. They
No,
fucking
they
won't.
won't.
Oh
I don't
no,
think they
the
will.
opposite. The opposite.
But anyway, listen, we're here nearly an hour. Sorry, Chris.
Let's say Kiss goodbye to your £15 tickets.
Yeah, that's gone. Or your £9 tickets. It's
I'm just gonna listen to the Champions League anthem on repeat, boys, and how crazy
Yeah.
myself in the corner.
I heard the new Super League anthem will be better, Shawnee. Just hold on.
I've heard it's. Have you heard the latest one's going around? It's for you wrestling fans. It's Shane McMahon's one, isn't it?
oh, many.
If you don't know it, Google it. It'll make you. It's probably the only thing that'll make you laugh tonight. So that's the new show. That's a new.
So look, I'm sure this will develop over the next 24, 48 hours. We're meant to have a match reaction tomorrow night. After the Leeds game, but I don't know what way that's going to go. The lads that are on that will probably do a match reaction and update on this. If more develops over this tomorrow and I get a chance, which is slim, but if me or any of the lads are free tomorrow during the day to come on and host the show on their own and just give news and get reaction, we will absolutely try to do that as well. Okay. Thanks a million for everyone for joining us. It's been a weird night. I have to say, it's been a very, very weird night. I think it's disgraceful. I really do. The lads don't seem too enamoured by it either. And as I said, we'll keep you updated. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to follow us all over the place, websites, you know where it is, LFC Daytrippers, you'll find us everywhere. And thanks for your ongoing support. That has been it. That's been the second show of the night. We're into Monday morning now. I have to remember to book me golf for next week at 9 a.m, which is way more important than European Super Leagues, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But it's been 4 months I've been waiting for this. It's taken over my life. It really has. And if Shawnee
you can't go now, mate.
No,
you can't
listen,
go now, mate. It's super golf now. You can qualify for
I
it.
swear to God, right, if the cases rise and they call off golf, if the cases rise, right, and they call off golf, and Shawnee Lawson texts me and says, just get on with it, you're shite at golf anyway, I'm going to fucking upend him. Right, that's and that's a promise, right? Because he's doing it to me for 4 fucking months. He is, and I've had enough. I've had enough. That's it. We're out of here. Over and out.